Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me this morning in Yin Yoga. We'll just give people a few minutes to start checking in as we just began to go live. So if you are waiting and you haven't gone and got some of the things you're going to need for this class, it is a Yin Yoga class. You should grab a couple of pillows, a blanket. If you have a bolster, grab a bolster. If you have a block, grab your blocks. And anything else you think that would help you to feel more comfortable throughout this practice. I'm dressed very casually in some sweatpants and t-shirt. You can actually have socks on it. And I'm sitting here thinking, probably my feet are feeling a bit cool. I should have had my socks on. But for Yin Yoga, we're not doing a lot of movement, so it's important to keep a little bit warmer during the practice so that you don't feel distracted by your body being chilled. So if you are able to, just go to your chat and let me know who you are and where you are watching from in the world, so I can say hello to you this morning. Hi, Jerry. How you doing? Glad you joined us. Also, too, Kate is here. She's in California, so she got up really early in order to join our class today, as they're a few hours behind us in the time zones. And for anybody else who is out there, just say hi, and you don't really have to tell us much more than where you are in the world. If you're feeling a little bit like you don't want to let us know your name or anything like that. And in a few minutes, we'll get started. But before we go any further, I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about what Yin Yoga is. So Yin Yoga is a form of yoga practice that focuses more on the stretching aspect of yoga than the balancing aspect of yoga. So generally speaking, when we're doing a regular hatha practice, a lot of it is moving from one posture to another, and pretty much all of them, especially if they're a standing position, require you to work on your balance. By working on your balance, you're working generally in the core area of your body, so you're improving your core strength. And if you're holding arms out or have legs in a position where they're supporting some of your body weight, then you're working on the strengthening of those muscle groups. But in Yin Yoga, we're focusing much more on the actual joint itself and the tendons and the ligaments, the muscles, and all of the connective tissue that wraps around the body. Everything in your body is connected by this beautiful network of fabric that's called fascia. Everything has got fascia through it, around it, and supporting it. So even your joints, some part of your muscle group, which has a network of fascia holding each one of the cell muscles, little cells of muscles that are lined up, they are encased in fascia. They come down to a finer place where they start to mesh together and they become a ligament that attaches to your bones. And around the joint, we have a lot of layers of fascia there to help support, along with all of the muscles and tendons, the stability of the joint. But the sad part is, if we're not moving these joints, if we're not stretching things, the fascia becomes rigid because it's very dependent on moisture. And the moisture comes from your body moving and squeezing, and all of the blood in your system. A lot of it is composed of moisture, so it is squeezed into every single tissue, including the fascia tissue. And this moisture is what helps it to move easily, to stretch generously. And when we don't move it around very much, it gets rigid and it gets dry. And so Yin has been developed in order to put more focus on the stretching and the moving of these groups in order to bring moisture to the area. So hi, Millie. Nice to see you here. Millie is in Winnipeg, Canada. And Jerry, she's up in Raleigh, North Carolina. And as I said, Kate is over on the West Coast in Northern California area, I believe Kate is. So if you're there and you're able to, say hi to everyone. put it in the chat and just say, hello, this is where I'm at. All right, what time is it now? I'm going to give a couple more minutes just to get, before we get things rolling. And if you have a second, just hit the like button after this class if you did like it. If you didn't like it, you don't have to, obviously. But if you like this class, please tick on the like button, and that lets other people know that this is a video or a class worth watching. So now that we have talked a little bit about what Yin Yoga does, what I like to just encourage you to do is to, even if Yin is not a practice you would want to do daily, which you could if you wanted to, you should at least look at incorporating one Yin Yoga class per week into your agenda. If you're doing 2 or 3 regular yoga classes a week, at least one of them should be a Yin Yoga class. The benefit of this is that you will find your body will respond much faster to being able to stretch and get easily into the yoga postures in your regular yoga class. And this is how I began. I began doing a couple of regular gentle yoga classes a week and 1 Yin Yoga class a week. And once I started to really begin to love yoga, I upped the Yin Yoga to 2 classes a week. And I was almost matching class per class with my regular yoga and my Yin Yoga, so that I could really start to accelerate my flexibility. Yin Yoga will help to make you more flexible much more quickly. Hi, Win. How you doing? Win is up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, too, in Canada. So, how do we begin to do Yin? Well, through our Yin class, we are going to be holding the postures for a period of time. And that time will change depending on the type of stretch we're going into. The more difficult the stretch is, the less time I'm going to have you spend in it. But the average amount of time we will spend in every stretch is going to be 4 minutes. So what I would like you to think about during those 4 minutes is not when is this over, but rather I want you to just relax and think about the benefit of what you are doing. Or perhaps you don't want to think about anything, which is really hard to do. Believe me, I've tried. This is a type of meditation that we go into in a Yin Yoga class. And everybody thinks that meditation is basically, I don't think about anything. I empty my mind of all thought. Well, that's not true. Meditation is about being focused on the moment, this breath, this nanosecond. And the more you focus on what you are doing right now and give your attention to it, weirdly, the faster time passes. And this is how we approach Yin Yoga. So when you're in any of the positions that I ask you to go into, instead of trying to think about your grocery list or think about something that you want to do later on today, think about what's going on. Think about how this is feeling, where it's uncomfortable. Think about your breath. Think about how deeply you're breathing. Ask yourself, am I feeling tense? If I'm feeling tense, perhaps I should take a different type of breath. And that brings me to the next thing about Yin Yoga, is that the type of breath we encourage ourselves to use is a breath that helps our body to relax. So when you breathe in through your nose, but on the exhale, you exhale through your mouth in a kind of a sigh. And sometimes it comes out very like, very nicely. And other times it'll come out, kind of sigh. And those are the best ones, because then you know you really let go of tension in your body. Because Yin Yoga, if nothing else for you today, is going to release a lot of stress and a lot of tension in your body. And so I'm going to begin, because it looks like it's that time. And we're going to begin sitting on our mat and having everything that we need fairly close to us. We're not moving around a lot, so we can keep things a lot closer. And I'm just going to move my singing bowl out of the way. And today's practice is going to be focusing mostly on the hip area of our body. This is the area where we tend to hold a lot of our stress. Women particularly, we shove things way down in here. It comes down into the pelvis, we end up having digestive problems or bowel irritability, and all of this stress starts to clench in and starts to tighten up our hip joints. And also, it comes down into the knee joint as well. So in our back, so let's start with a half butterfly position. We're going to hold it for 4 minutes. So what can you do in this position to keep more comfortable? Depending on what your easy pose looks like. One leg, and we'll start with the right leg being extended out, is going to be flattened down toward the ground. So you're just going to let it go. You're not going to try to push it down. You're not going to try to straighten it out. Nothing like that. We're not forcing anything. The other leg, depending on how your knees are, can be anywhere from where you see right now where my feet are positioned up to here where I am now. So even though you see me sitting like this does not have to be how you look. If you're out here and this is feeling really not comfortable, all of the pressure that you're getting in the hip joint, just take a blanket or a pillow and shove it in there, something soft, so that the body weight will also push into it and it will give a little bit and help to stretch gently this side. So let's find our spot. I'm going to get my timer ready to make sure that we are not staying overly long in these positions. And I'm going to set it for 4 minutes. So we're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to stretch up a little bit, just lengthening up through the midriff. And on our exhale, we're going to let our belly drop down toward the floor, put our hands down to help support us. And we're just going to tip forward. Doesn't have to be very much. If you're starting to feel the back of your leg talk to you, you're doing it. If you're not feeling much happening in the back of your leg, see if you can push down just a little tiny bit more to find the place where either your hip or the back of your leg tells you to stop. Take a deep breath in through the nose. We're going to let it go through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. In through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And now if you like, you can let your chin drop down toward your chest. And don't forget to breathe. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Let yourself relax down just a little deeper. Take a deep breath in as you come up, push into the floor. Let your arms do the work of pushing the body up. Don't try to lift up with your back. We're going to stretch out and bend gently our knees so that everything relaxes here. After the long stretch, we have a very short recuperative period. This is an important part of Yin. It allows everything to come gently back into place. The stretch has pulled things, and then as soon as we come out of it, everything starts to contract back into place again. And we need to allow the body to have that time in order for us not to injure ourselves by trying to go into something else immediately. The other thing it's important to note is that once you've stretched something, think about when you take a plastic bag or a piece of saran wrap and you stretch it and you let go, it never goes right back into shape. Our body is not consisting of memory foam. It's consisting of a much more pliable and stretchable material. So think about every time you've stretched now, you've just loosened things up just that tiny bit more. All right, we're going to switch sides now. So the opposite leg, the one that you had bent, is going to be the extended leg. And we're going to bring in the other leg that you had stretched out, tucked in toward the body. And notice that probably on this side, it's not the same exact position that you are on the other side. Maybe your leg could come in closer. Maybe it's further away. That's a natural thing that happens with the body. Each side is a little bit different. So don't worry about that. Let's take a deep breath in, let's stretch up through the rib cage. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our belly down toward our thigh and just stop where we feel we have to stop. You take another inhale here, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Inhale, exhale. Relax yourself down. Whatever happened there, whatever relaxation response you had, allow it. Let's take another breath in. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And relax a little more. And now if you like, you can let your chin drop toward your chest. Don't forget to breathe anytime you feel you need to take those deep breaths. Just do it. Listen to your body. Take a deep breath in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Let yourself relax down just a little deeper. Slowly coming back up again. Using your hands, though, to push you back up. And then stretching the legs out, bending at the knees, taking the pressure off of the knees. Just sit and relax for a moment. So while I have you here, I'm just going to give you an announcement about a workshop that I am putting together on July the 12th, I believe. It is a Wednesday. And it's at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the workshop is based on ketogenic lifestyle. So a lot of people are interested in how I maintain my body weight, how I lost some weight over the last couple of years. And if you've been watching me regularly, you may even have seen my body change slightly in the past year. Then this is all down to a lifestyle change that I made called ketogenic eating. And it's based on a low-carb eating methodology. So not to go on about this too much longer, but if you are interested in that, if you've heard about keto and you're not sure how to do it, how to begin it, what it's all about, all the mystery around it, you could join this. It's a free workshop. I'm going to have it announced through to YouTube and also on my website. So check it out. And if you're available, it's on a Zoom call. So join us and I'll answer all your questions. Okay, we're going to go into the next stretch now. So this is going to be a series of stretches. And these stretches are based on what's called Ragdoll. Now you're going to need to bring your cushions and your blankets over toward one side of your body. And throughout the rest of this particular section, we're going to have our legs in a position where they're just a lazy open V. We're not forcing anything to go as wide as possible. So just widen out your legs into a place where you maybe can feel a little bit of stretch happening here in the inner thigh. But if you're not feeling very much, don't worry. If your legs don't flatten right down, if your knees have to be bent, that's okay too. So the very first thing we're going to do, and I'm just going to rearrange myself here so I'm facing properly, is we're going to bring our pillows, our blankets, everything we've got, our block if you like, and we're going to place, say for example, I've got a couple of blocks I can pile up, and then I can put a blanket or a pillow over top of that. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drape ourselves over to the side. So you want to position everything and tuck it in there so that you feel a little bit of support. And you're going to feel a stretch happening. And it doesn't take a lot before you're going to start to feel the stretch happening in your waistline from around your hip joint. If you want to intensify this, you can start to do things like drop your arm across your head or bring your arm across your body. So think of yourself as a rag doll that's floppy. So the doll in this case, we're going to flop over to the right side. So if you've got everything piled on the right side, if you already put it on the left, don't worry about it. You're going to do both sides. So we're going to do this for 4 minutes. So I'm going to start the timer. We're going to take a nice long deep breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, just start to bend over to the side, shove everything in there. Get yourself supported. Let your arms dangle. Let your head dangle. And you'll notice you'll feel the stretch even up through the shoulder and the neck. And at any point in time, if you can't stand this after a couple of minutes, or your neck is hurting, or your back is hurting, you can stop. But make sure that it's pain and not just I'm feeling the uncomfortableness of this stretch. Take another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and just let yourself relax down a little deeper. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're at the 2-minute point. If you feel this has been enough for you, please feel free to gently sit up. Make sure you're using your arms to push you up, not your back. And just sit and relax and wait. If you can hang in there, just hang in there. Take another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now in a few seconds, we're going to be coming up out of this posture. We're going to come up very, very carefully. You're going to use your hands to bring you out. So if you had your arm across your chest or over to the side, you're going to bring that and you're going to push it down into the floor between your legs. The other hand is going to be positioned on the other side of where your pile of stuff is, and you're going to be pushing into the floor on that side. So let's take another inhale, exhale, and as we inhale, start to push into the floor, lifting your body back up again. Come very slowly, very gently. You're going to feel a lot of pressure released in the spine. As you come back up, everything is straightening back out again. And you're going to give it the time it needs. So bend your knees a little bit, lean forward, and just allow yourself to feel what's going on. Now, I hope you listen to your body, because this one is quite intense on the spinal area. So I hope you listen to yourself, and if you were in pain, you did not stay there. This is not something that we play around with. Pain is a very, very good indicator that something is not right. So if you're feeling just the achy, stretchy, uncomfortableness of the stretch, that's tolerable. That's what we do. But if you've felt any pain in this stretch, you're now going to lay down on your mat and you're not going to do the other side. So understand that pain is sharp, it's sudden, it's very specific in a place. And it doesn't stop simply because you just moved, perhaps, especially in the spinal area. I'm also hoping that you are not attempting any of this exercise, that you read the disclaimer at the bottom of my description of this class, that if you're having any doctor's care for your body, that you have permission to do these types of exercises so that you don't injure yourself further. So keep that in mind. Listen to yourself. We're going to go very shortly into the other side. And I want you to listen to this side of your body because, like I said before, every side is different. So when we bend this way, you may bend more, you may bend less. And it's critical that you listen to the body and not allow it to go into pain. Achy stretch, yes. Pain, never. So anything you had on the other side, you're just going to flip it over. Make sure that you have enough stuff here to support you and that you can still put your hand down onto the floor. That's important too. So your legs are relaxed out. I'm going to start the timer. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, stretch up, and then exhale, drop your hand down and let yourself relax against your pile of goodies. And just breathe here. Now, because we've stretched the other way, you may not immediately be able to go very deep. You may have to readjust things that are underneath you to help accommodate you. But probably after a few seconds or a minute, you'll be able to feel like maybe I can change things. Maybe I'm not feeling anything anymore. Take a deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. Let your head relax, let your chin relax. Take another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're at the 2-minute mark. If you did 2 minutes the last time on one side, you should be pushing yourself upright very gently and carefully. So it's important to make sure that you have only stretched each side equally, not more on one side than the other side, even if it feels like you could do it for 4 minutes. For the rest of you, just take a few deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Moan and groan it out. So in a few seconds, we're going to be coming up So make sure once again that you've got your hand pushed down onto the floor beside you, the other hand between your legs, pushing into the floor. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and as you inhale, push your body back up again to an upright position. Using your hands, don't use your strength in your back, and just relax and sit here for a second. Now, for you, it might be different, but for me, when I've done the second side and I come up, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel as uneven, I guess the word is, as it did the last time when I came up just having stretched one side. Now things actually feel much more even. And that is why it's important whenever we're stretching our body that we, not only that we stretch each side, but we stretch each side for an equal amount of time, if at all possible. So think about it as the first one is really stretching the spine one way, the other side, now when you sit up, it's uneven, so you've got a different pressure happening. And when you stretch the other side and you sit up, now you're feeling everything equalized in flexibility. So the next stage of the Ragdoll is the forward fold. And what we're doing is we're simply just coming down between the legs, dropping down, but thinking about getting the belly toward the floor between the thighs. It's always, whenever we're doing a forward fold, we're always thinking belly to floor, not head to floor. So in this one, you can have stuff in front of you if you like for support. So here you could take all the stuff that you had at your side, you could bring it to the front, you could place it in a position where you could then drop your hands down onto and relax forward into the forward fold position. I recommend, if possible, if you can focus on turning your toes toward the center so that they're coming in this way as opposed to that way, that might help you to be able to focus on getting the belly down toward the floor. If that doesn't seem to help, you could try the other way. The other way for me is it actually prevents me from being able to rotate forward. Some people, it's different. You can also play around with how wide your legs are apart to see if you can get down deeper. So we're going to start. We're going to be here 4 minutes. So let's take a deep breath in. Inhale, stretch up. Reach up through the spine. And on the exhale, start to push your belly down toward the floor. If you need to, you can bend your knees. You can shove things underneath your knees or thighs to support that. Otherwise, just relax, bringing your belly down, relax forward. Remembering your Ragdoll. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. And let your chin drop to your chest. Take a deep breath in through the nose, let it go through the mouth. Allow yourself to relax deeper down into the stretch. You're going to come up from the stretch in a moment and make sure you're pushing yourself up through your hands, not trying to lift up through your back. So push your fingertips, move your stuff out of the way, push your fingertips down into the mat, and as you inhale, push against your hands. Start walking the hands back toward the body more till you come up to an upright position. And then gently bend your knees. And just sit here for a moment and let everything come back. So for some of you, you may be very, very interested in the practice of Yin Yoga. And you'll be happy to know, even though it's going to be in a few months from now, that in September, and the date will be decided soon, I am going to be giving a special workshop on Yin Yoga. It's going to be approximately 2.5 hours. It will be on a Zoom feed, and there will be a small fee attached to it if you are not a member of Northern Zen Yoga. Members of Northern Zen Yoga have the privilege of joining all of the Zoom classes that I put out, which are live classes on a weekly basis. Sometimes we have Yin Yoga, sometimes we have flow, gentle flow. They're all very interactive. It's like being more into the yoga studio, but from the comfort of your home. And they also get to be on the members page, which allows them access to all of the pre-recorded videos from the Zoom classes. And of course, any workshops that I do. So it's not very expensive to be a member of Northern Zen Yoga. You might want to check that out on my website, northernzenyoga.com, and see if it's for you. But in any case, there will be a small fee. It won't be much. It'll be $10 for non-members. And of course, it's free for members to see the workshop. Now, the workshop will be on what is Yin, why is Yin, the history of the Yin and the evolution of Yin Yoga. And we're going to also be spending time going through a lot of the postures and working on how to accommodate them better for your body. So think about that. It's coming in September. Let's go into the next one in the Ragdoll series. So we've gone side to side, we've gone forward. So the next one is going to be in a backbend. So I'm going to show you how to set this up. So what you will need is, if you don't have a bolster, you will need a couple of pillows that you can pile up. The other thing you can use is you can use a couple of blocks, but blocks are pretty uncomfortable. So if you don't have pillows and you have blocks, make sure you put a blanket over top of the block. So I'm going to set mine up to show you what I'm going to do. So this is a bolster. You can purchase them. They're not cheap, but they're very, very good, especially if you're going to continue to practice Yin Yoga on a regular basis. Lots of uses for them in your practice. Now, you can also put a couple of pillows here. Then I'm going to put my block, and I'm going to put my block with a nice, another cover over it, like a blanket, or I could use, if I wanted to, another pillow, small pillow. And then I'm going to take even another blanket or cushion, and I'm going to put that down. So you see what I'm creating? I'm creating this little slope here. Now my bottom is going to come here, I'm still going to have my legs extended out, and then I'm going to relax back here like this. So one of the things about this you might find is that, well, the pillows in the back don't allow my head to relax down onto them, so go grab something else. Roll up a blanket, throw another pillow on top, and then you can relax back. And this is the posture. So this one we're not going to be holding for 4 minutes. We're going to hold it for 3 minutes. I want you, though, to make sure that you create this little ramp for your body to lay down on top of. And you can do that with using everything you've got, as long as you've got kind of got a slope, so that what's in your low back is lower than what's in your mid back. That's lower than what the back of your head will rest down onto. And at first, even if your head is just making contact and it feels very awkward, just live with it, because very, very shortly everything will start to relax and it will feel much more comfortable. Okay, so we're going to do this for 3 minutes. So let's take a deep breath in. Remember to spread out your legs, relax your legs out. You can roll your toes in or out, whatever feels natural. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, relax yourself back down onto your surface that you've created. And breathe. Very important here. Take another one of those deep breaths. Exhale. If you're feeling pain in your back, sharp pain, roll out of this position. Don't try to sit up. Just roll out and don't do this position. If you're just feeling a little achiness in the low back, it's tolerable, live it. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Make sure your legs are relaxed. Make sure your arms are dangling and relaxed, your fingers curling up. Remember, you're a ragdoll. We're going to be coming out of this posture in a few moments. So what I would like you to remember is that we're not sitting up. We're just going to roll out. So let's bring our knees up. Bring your heels closer to your bottom. And then just roll to the side and roll right off of everything onto the floor. And just lay here for a few minutes and make sure, if you feel like you need to, curl up more in a fetal position, especially if your low back is feeling a little bit achy. And breathe here. Take some of those deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Using your hands, push into the floor. Make sure you're not using your back to try to lift you up. And come into a seated position. And you might feel a little bit dizzy. That's okay. Just let it pass. It's just because of the position your head was in, and then you rolled off, and now you're sitting upright. So your blood pressure is changing a little bit. Take a few deep breaths if you feel nauseated in any way. So just take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And let it pass. It will pass in a few seconds. So you could stay longer in this stretch, but I just want to make sure, because it is a back arch, that no one had been in there too long so that it was causing any issues. All of these postures we've been doing are for people who have perhaps tight spine but healthy spine. Never attempt any kind of these exercises for the spine in Yin or any other exercise practice if you are under care for your spine. Okay, so we can get some of our stuff out of the way. And we're back in our seated position, and we're going to go back to working on the hip joint. So I'd like you to take one of your blankets and roll it up into a little soft roll. Nothing too high. If you find it's too high when we stick it underneath our legs, you can always just unwind it a little bit. And you're going to stick it underneath your thighs, and your legs are straight out. So we've stretched our back in a couple of different ways. We've stretched our hips out a little bit. This time we're going to combine the stretching of the hips and the back in this position. And the reason why we put the blanket underneath our legs for this one is because we're trying to disengage the stretch in the hamstring area. And we want to increase your ability to stretch the low back area. Nice big flat muscles that attach just under the same place, basically where the hamstrings connect, underneath your glutes, around your pelvic area, and they come up, these big flat muscles, right up your spine, and they're the ones that if you put your hands on your back just above your hips, you can feel. So we're going to stretch those, and we're going to bring our belly down between our legs. So that's why we're leaving our feet separated just a little bit, so that as we come down, we can start to focus on bringing the belly between the thighs. You can open your legs up wider if you like. If that feels better for you to do that, doesn't matter. This part isn't that important. It's about bringing the belly down between the legs. Once we start to stretch down, we're going to reach for shins, ankles, and if you're able to, your bottom of your feet, and you're going to start to put a little pressure on yourself to start to bring the belly down a little deeper. So we're going to hold this pose for 4 minutes. Let's take a deep breath in, stretching up through the spine, lengthening up. And as we exhale, drop your belly, press your belly down first against the legs, or as close to the legs as you can get. Reach for thighs, shin bones, ankle bones, feet, and begin to just put a little pressure on bringing that belly down between the legs. Take a deep breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Relax yourself down. You can let your head get heavy and your chin drop to your chest if you like. You should be feeling the stretch in the low back area. Just be careful, do not let it become pain. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and let it go through the mouth. Take another deep breath in, exhaling through the mouth. Remember, when we come up, to push your hands down onto the floor beside you to push you back up again, and not to use your back to lift up. Coming into an upright position. Bring your knees in a little closer, move your blanket out of the way. Just breathe here. Notice what your body is feeling like now. We're going to come down onto our back and bring one of your pillows or blankets with you and put your head on. Make a nice little cushion. Don't have it too high. If you do have your head resting on something, your chin should never be pushing your chin into your chest. That's too much pressure on the back of your neck. Instead, it should just allow your back of your head to feel comfortable. Bring your knees up as you come down so that you can take the pressure off of your back for a second. And we're just going to roll on our back side to side, gently flattening the back down. Let the shoulders relax down. While you're down here, if you like, you can go in circles with your knees in the air, rolling on the back. You go one way, then go the other way for a few rotations, and you rock side to side. If you like, you can reach up, grab your big toes, and lift your feet toward the ceiling and rock in Happy Baby. Drop your feet to the floor. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just drop your knees over to the left side, roll onto your left hip. Try to keep both of your shoulders making contact with the mat. Just take a breath here. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. We're just going to rest here for 30 seconds or so. So relax and keep taking those deep breaths. Let's take an inhale and lift the knees up toward the ceiling. Rock on your back gently for a few seconds. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, drop your knees over to the right side this time. Roll onto your right hip. Just relax your shoulders back toward the floor. Take a deep breath in and exhale through the mouth. Just rest here. Taking those deep breaths. Letting your body relax. And bring your knees back up, feet to the floor. And then very gently stretch your legs out, getting ready for the last few moments in Shavasana. Spread everything out. Spread your feet out, spread your arms out. Take a few of those deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, and just let your body begin to melt with each exhale. Every exhale, feel yourself relax deeper. And let your breath relax. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, waking your body up. And gently bring your knees back up, hugging them into your chest. And just rock on your back a little and thank your body. Thank you for all you do. And then when you feel ready, just roll over to one side and just take a few moments here, just for you. Take a few deep breaths. Feel your body. Feel how relaxed it feels. And then when you're ready, gently come up, using your arms to help push you up. Come back into your seated position. Getting ready to close the class. We'll close our class by chanting Om. Take a breath in and out first, and then inhale for Om. So let's inhale, exhale, inhale for Om. Om. Rub your hands together. Generate some beautiful energy, your prana. As you do this, think of your back, think of your waist, think of your hips, places that we stretched today. Close your eyes, place your palms over your closed eyes, and when you breathe in, open them and send that energy right down your spine to the back. Palms to ceiling, send the energy back out to the universe. Let's scoop up just a little bit to bring back to your heart center. Namaste. So if you have any questions, I'm just going to scooch over closer to my tea and to the computer. If you have any questions, please use the chat medium to ask questions, and I will be more than happy to answer them for you. But just in closing, I just want to remind you that there will be, in a couple of weeks, Keto 101 workshop, which is totally free. I think it's actually the 14th is the Wednesday, and it will be at 10 a.m. And I'll be putting out a information on my Facebook page and on my website page very shortly on that. And you can just follow the link and join the class if that's of interest to you. It'll be a couple of hours of information. And the other thing is, coming in September, there will be a workshop for Yin Yoga. Now, the other thing I want to mention to you is starting from July and August, there will be no live classes on YouTube on Tuesday mornings, taking the summer off from live classes. But for the next couple of weeks anyway, I think there's at least one more Tuesday this month, you'll be able to join me in the live yoga class. And it is and I will tell you because I've got my calendar here. Oh yes, there's two more. There's one on the 22nd and one on the 29th, so cool. And next week is going to be gentle flow. And the following Tuesday is going to be yoga with small hand weights. So if you haven't got a calendar of classes, you can go to my website also, www.northernzenyoga.com, and you can see a printable version of my monthly calendar for July. It also shows you the Zoom classes. So to let you see how many classes you could be taking with me with yoga and the different kinds of classes if you became a member of Northern Zen Yoga. So check it out. Anyway, I'm going to come closer so I can read. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask. I am here. I will sit here as long as it takes to answer your questions. And I'm just going to have a drink of my tea. If you have any fluids nearby, you should do the same. Make sure you're hydrated. Jerry says she can't wait for the workshop. I know Jerry loves Yin Yoga, so I'm assuming that's the Yin Yoga workshop she's talking about. Any questions? I don't see any questions coming up. I'll give you a few minutes to get your computer to your phone or tablet, whatever you're using, and to type it in if you have any questions or comments you would like to make to the group. Please do that now. Today we did a series called Ragdoll. I haven't practiced that one with anybody on the YouTube before or on our Zoom classes. So how did you feel about those? How did your body feel about doing those particular stretches? Were they difficult? Were they easy? Will you never want to ever do them again because it was just too much? These are things I'd like to know. And of course, again, before you go, if you enjoyed this class, please, if you haven't subscribed, press subscribe. And if you enjoyed it, please press the like button. Thank you. Okay, well, I still see people watching the show, but I'm not seeing any questions coming in. So unless you really enjoyed just sitting here watching me drink tea, maybe I should get going. Anyway, please check it out. Check my website out. It has all of the prices of membership. Basic membership is $30 a month. However, if you buy the 3-month membership, it's $50. So that's pretty cheap for a yoga studio and yoga classes in general, where I know because I used to run a yoga studio, we used to charge more like $180 for 3 months. So it's a really good deal. And you get to have a lot of classes that are at times in the morning when most people are enjoying the classes. And then there's one evening, Yin Yoga, on Wednesday evenings. Every Wednesday, there's Yin Yoga. Also coming up on the 20th, which is this Sunday, is the Dragon Vinyasa class. So if you've joined me for Dragon Vinyasa before, or if you have never tried Dragon Vinyasa, you should join me on Sunday. It's a free class on Zoom. You just have to go to the website and you have to find the link for Sunday class and follow it, and you will be part of the Zoom class. Now, Dragon Vinyasa is a flow, and it's a little bit of a challenge. But if you can't do everything in it, just don't do everything in it. Instead, just do what you can do. You'll have lots of fun. You'll have a great energy build up by the end of the class, and you'll be able to take on the rest of your Sunday. Jerry says she feels more limber in her back, so that's a good sign. Remember too, though, if you're not feeling very limber in your back, and especially in a couple of hours, your back starts to ache a little bit, do whatever you would normally do for muscle aches and pains. You've got muscle rub, Tylenol, whatever works for you, generally a nice hot soak in Epsom salt bath. Any of those things are great for helping to relieve muscle aches and pains. Now, if you were honest with yourself and you responded to the fact that you weren't feeling sharp pain, anything you're going to be feeling after this point is muscle aches and pains, part of the process of the body stretching and opening. Okay, ladies, I'm going to say goodbye. Everybody is telling goodbye to me, so love you all. See you next time. Check out my website. Lots of stuff on there. Bye for now. See you next week. Bye. Look. Oh, I just had one question pop up. I'm going to answer it. Millie says last year she had an issue with always falling off of her bicycle. But now that she's been practicing yoga this past year, she has a lot more flexibility and she's not having that problem anymore, falling off her bicycle. Of course, your body is more flexible. It moves easily. It doesn't fall off of things, whether it's a bicycle or off of a chair or off of the step that you're stepping down from as you come out of your house or into your car. All of these things are part of when we get older and we get stiff. We can't move as easily. We can't respond to corrections for our balance. So by doing yoga, we get our balance back. It's natural. It's part of it. It's part of staying young. And on my Facebook page just recently, I posted a picture of me. So if you're curious, go to my Facebook page for Northern Zen Yoga. If you haven't seen it already, there are pictures of me at age 56, at age 58 after 6 months of yoga, and at age 66, and what that body of mine looks like and how it holds itself. Like a lot of people get caught up in the fact that, oh, I still looked young, or I still looked young in my face, but it's not about, I wasn't talking about my face in that picture. I was talking about the way I held my body. And my body at age 56 was pretty stiff. I had the head dropping down between the shoulders thing happening. I couldn't get up off the floor if I got down there to wipe up a spill. Couldn't get up. I had to drag myself over to a chair and lift myself up. So if you think yoga is not going to do anything for you because you're in your 50s or your 60s or even your 70s and 80s, you're wrong. It's going to help you. It will make your body young again. And for that alone is why I do what I do. So see you next week, guys. Love you all. Bye for now. That's it.